The desert was unusually quiet the next morning. After the storm, the air felt washed, purified. The sand lay smooth, sculpted into soft ripples by the passing wind. Matthew walked beside Abba Elias, his heart steadier than it had been in years, but heavy with a new awareness. The storm had shown him his fear. Now silence revealed something deeper, regret. Elias seemed to sense it. "There is a weight on your heart today." Matthew nodded. "I keep thinking about the people I've hurt, or disappointed. Things I said. Things I didn't say. People I left behind because I was too busy, too tired, or too proud." Elias walked slowly, hands clasped behind his back. "The desert does not erase the past," he said. "It invites us to face it." Matthew swallowed. "I don't even know where to start." Elias stopped beside a large flat rock, worn smooth by years of sun. He reached beneath his robe and retrieved a small, leather-bound packet containing parchment and a reed pen. "Sit," he said. Matthew obeyed. "You will write," Elias said. "A letter?" Matthew asked. "Yes," Elias replied. "But not for sending. It is a letter for the heart." Matthew stared at the blank parchment. His chest tightened. Who do I write to?" Elias sat beside him. "Whose face appears in your mind even when you try to look away?" Matthew exhaled sharply. One face came instantly. His father. Their relationship had been fractured for years, a quiet war of unspoken words, harsh expectations, and the ache of mutual disappointment. Matthew had grown up trying to prove himself worthy, striving endlessly for approval that never came. As an adult, he escaped into work, avoiding calls, avoiding visits, pretending the silence between them wasn't breaking him. He lowered his eyes. "My father." Elias nodded gently. Then began. Matthew dipped the reed into ink. His hand trembled. He hesitated for almost a full minute before pressing the tip to the parchment. "Father." He froze. His throat tightened. "This is harder than the storm," Matthew whispered. "Because storms rage outside you," Elias replied. "This one rages within." Matthew forced himself to continue. "Father, I don't know when we drifted apart. Maybe it started long before either of us noticed." Words poured slowly, painfully, like water drawn from a deep well. "All my life, I tried to earn your approval. I worked harder, pushed longer, tried to be everything you wanted, or everything I thought you wanted. But the more I tried, the farther we grew apart." Matthew's vision blurred. Tears dripped onto the parchment, smudging ink. "I didn't realize," he whispered, "how much this still hurts." "That is why you must write," Elias said softly. "Pain unspoken becomes poison." Matthew continued. "I blamed you for being distant. For being silent. For not seeing me, or hearing me. But I never told you. I never gave you the chance. Instead, I hid behind anger and work. I judged you without understanding you." He wiped his eyes with his sleeve. "But there's more," Matthew said quietly. "I know I hurt him too." "Then say so," Elias replied. Matthew dipped the pen again. "I'm sorry for the ways I failed you. The times I ignored your calls. The way I shut you out. I carried my wounds like weapons, and I know they cut you." The ink shook across the page as he wrote the next words. "I forgive you. Please forgive me too." His hand finally stilled. The wind swept gently across the rock, drying the tears on his cheeks. Elias waited until Matthew set the pen down before speaking. "How do you feel?" Matthew didn't answer at first. He stared at the letter, messy, raw, imperfect. "I feel," he whispered, "lighter." And then he cried, not with the sharp panic of the storm, but with the soft release of someone who had kept too much inside for too long. Elias placed a hand on his back. "When the heart speaks truth," the monk said, "the soul finds rest." Matthew nodded, wiping tears from his chin. "What do I do with the letter?" "Fold it," Elias said, "and place it in your jar." Matthew opened the cracked jar and gently slid the letter inside. The parchment curled softly against the inner wall. "But why put it in a jar?" he asked. Elias smiled. "Because forgiveness, both given and received, always begins in broken places." Matthew closed the jar, holding it carefully. "I wish," he said softly, "I wish things could have been different. I wish I had been brave enough to say these things years ago." Elias stood slowly. God does not live in the past. He redeems it. Matthew rose with him, clutching the jar. "You cannot change the years behind you," Elias continued, "but you can change the years ahead." The desert teaches us that even cracked jars can carry new water. Matthew breathed deeply. The air felt new. Clean. "Will I ever stop feeling guilty?" he asked. Elias shook his head gently. "Guilt is not healed by time, Matthew. It is healed by forgiveness, and you have taken the first step." They began walking back toward the hermitage. The evening light turned the cliffs to gold, shadows soft and warm. "And remember," Elias added, "a letter never sent can still set a soul free." Matthew closed his eyes briefly and whispered a simple prayer, "Lord, heal what I cannot. Mend what is broken. And help me forgive, as you forgive." The desert wind, soft and cool, carried the prayer into the valley. Matthew felt something inside him settle, like a long-troubled sea finally becoming still.